Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of XtalknIsh with your boy X. And unfortunately, no Ish today, and no Ish for at least 3 more weeks. He is out of town enjoying his vacation with his family, so we're not going to interrupt Ishmael. And we hope that he enjoys his downtime with his family. So, with that being said, if y'all don't mind, go ahead and like and sharing this broadcast. If you are on Facebook, if you are on our Facebook page, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you're on our YouTube page, please go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future. And as well, if you are on Twitter, you can check us out on Periscope at XtalkingIsh. And you can check us out on my personal page at X_Williams81. I'm going to go ahead and retweet this right quick. So whenever it comes up on my feed, I'll go ahead and retweet it. But in the meantime, between time, we're going to go ahead and get right into these games. It is Sunday, of course, but we did have obviously Thursday night football. And we also had 3 games on Saturday. What a wild 3-game slate that we had yesterday. I won't get into them too much today. I will recap those games on Tuesday with our special guest that we will have joining us. But I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of excited to already talk about them because 2 out of those 3 games was kind of like lot going on over there. So we will, like I said, we will definitely recap those on Tuesday. Just please be patient with us because I know going from Saturday to Tuesday, it's a 3-day stretch. I know a lot of y'all really don't want to wait for it, but please, we're gonna have to wait. So with that being said, before we get into everything, I knew my boy Fracture Wanda was here. We appreciate you for joining in as always. And Fracture says, "Hey, had so great games." Yeah, I agree. It was a good slate. Even the Browns and Ravens game, it wasn't as sexy as the other games, but it was still a pretty good game. And as well, it kind of, I think Watson might be getting into a groove, but again, we'll talk about that on Tuesday. Let's go ahead and get into the damn thing. It's let's see what we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games on this Sunday slate. And then, of course, you have Monday night football game as well. I'll be honest with you, about 6 or 7 of these games this Sunday is kind of like it's going to be a clunker, just because, again, we're getting later into the season to where most of these games are kind of the better team against, a bad team. We got the Eagles, Bears, we have Chiefs, Texans. We have a Bengals, Buccaneers. Again, the Bengals should beat the Buccaneers, but again, we'll get into that game a little bit later on. So for the meantime, between time, let's talk a little bit about this game. Let's try to hype it up because if things go well for the Eagles, this game should not be close at all. It's really no point of Ish and I talking about this game too in depth because if Ish was here, he would probably want us to skip this and go ahead and go on to the next game. But I'll be honest with you, the next game ain't as good as this one. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about this for a little bit. For me, the way I look at this game, and if Ish was here, he probably would agree with me. This is a tune-up game for the Eagles. This is quote unquote, this is the trap game, right? This is the trap game, the game before the Cowboys. Of course, Eagles and Cowboys play against each other in that big old that big shit talking divisional matchup we all been waiting for the second go around. So that's next week. Could this game and this week be the letdown week for the Eagles because they're just ready to play the Cowboys? But yeah, but if we're being honest, and if you're actually looking and paying attention to the Eagles don't look like they are focused or worried about the Cowboys at all. Looks like they are, in the words of Bill Belichick, on the Cincinnati and worried about their next opponent, which of course are the Chicago Bears. And it seems as though the Cowboys might be the ones that are, again, maybe biting off a little bit more than they can chew. Let's get into the comment section right quick. Fracture Wanda said it last year. They didn't listen to me, but the Texans should have hired Gannon last year instead of Lovey. Let's be honest with you, Fracture. I mean, let's all keep it real, Fracture. Let's keep it real. It doesn't matter who you was going to hire this past season. Nobody was going to get the Texans to 5 or 6 wins. I'm just being completely honest. And it has nothing to do with they don't have the talent and they don't have this and they don't have that. I just feel like whatever dysfunction that's going on in the Texans organization right now, like it's bigger than Lovey, and Lovey is just a part of the unfortunate situation that's going on in Houston. That's why, again, in my opinion, I've stated it multiple times on this show. I will continue to state it. If the Texans want to make a complete change, you go out and go get DeMeco Ryans. I understand that DeMeco Ryans and the front office don't see eye to eye, haven't seen eye to eye in years. But if you as a Houston Texans organization want to rebrand yourself, this is a great opportunity to do it. Again, a former player, a guy that former Texan players respect, a guy that can bring in former Texan players to just, again, put a good image back on the Texans to show, look, we got Andre Johnson here, we got Arian Foster, even Matt Schaub, throw Matt Schaub out there, right? It's a possibility, but you have to let the coaches, or the coach, I should say, with DeMeco Ryans, you have to let him literally take control of everything. And I'm not talking about from a general manager's perspective. I'm just talking about from a marketable perspective. You got to utilize what you have there. Fracture Warner also says, but I understand why they didn't want to have a high draft pick. Not saying Gannon would have made them better, but we'll see. He also says love equals scapegoat. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'll be honest with you. I looked at that with Dusty Baker with the Astros. I really thought Dusty Baker was just going to be a manager that was just going to come in and they were going to fire him after 2 years because the Astros weren't going to find a way to rebound from that quote unquote cheating scandal. And boy, was I wrong. Looks like Dusty Baker is finally, of course, obviously able to get his ring, and Dusty Baker obviously does walking into the Hall of Fame. But that's another sport for another day. We'll talk about that another time. As y'all can see, obviously we have the Eagles winning this game. The only way the Bears win this game is due to the weather, due to the elements happening in Chicago, just it being windy. The Eagles can't complete a pass. That's the only way the Bears win in that game. Other than that, better run game, better passing game, better defense. No reason why the Eagles lose that game. All right, we have NFC South divisional rival matchup here, the Saints and the Falcons. And the great thing about this rivalry this season is that both of these teams suck. And what I mean by that is I think this is a rivalry that nobody in the NFL really pays attention to except for these two teams, because I see it all the time from Falcons. Like Falcons Saints fans, they really do not like each other. I don't know what it is. I mean, actually, I do know what it is, but I don't understand why that hatred is so deep. But they do not really care for one another. But this is not one of them rivalries where it's like Patriots and Colts or Steelers and Ravens or Steelers and Browns or any one of those rivalries where in the NFL we can say, oh, yeah, that's a big rivalry because of the history, the fans of this. This rivalry, honestly, is mainly due to the fan base. The fan bases for both of these do not like each other. And it's just interesting to see these two come together every year, once in New Orleans, once in Atlanta. Again, these fan bases are so petty that the Saints organization throws shade at the Atlanta organization due to the naming rights of their Superdome, or of their Georgia Dome when it comes to naming it the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, which the New Orleans Saints first had as well. So, again, a lot of petty coming from both of these cities. You'll understand why it is a lot of petty. Fracture One says, I like this game. I want Ritter to play. I really liked him in college. I'm happy you brought that up. Of course, Marcus Mariota has been benched for the rest of the season. A lot of speculation due to people thinking that he quit. I've read it was more about injuries that he sustained, and unfortunately, he just won't be able to come back. Look, at the end of the day, I'll be the first one to say, look, I like Marcus Mariota. I've never had a problem, but I have had a problem with him in regards of how he's performed in the NFL. It's honestly been a little disappointing, sort of say. You hear a lot of good things about him from his other teammates in the past. And I just don't know if this is an injury or if this is, hey, I'm good and there's nothing to play for. I'm trying to protect my body for next season. I don't know. Because again, I'm not in that Atlanta locker room to know what's really going on. But that's what they're stating, that it's due to injuries. He's having surgery soon, and that's why he's out for the rest of the season. Ritter is, of course, about to be the starter, and also this gives him a great opportunity to audition for the starting job next season. There's some people, again, depending on your mock drafts, there's some people that feel as though that the Falcons can still go back and go get another first-round quarterback. I don't want that to happen because I don't really know if there's a first-round quarterback that can just slide into the Falcons organization, just make them that much better besides Ritter. Again, I like Ritter. I've watched him since Cincinnati. I think he can play. I think he played well in his preseason debut, but we really, of course, have to see how he plays in real game and real action. Don't expect him to throw for 300 yards today. Don't expect him to go 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. But also don't be surprised if he does that as well, too, because we've seen it time and time again. Anytime rookie quarterbacks come out and play first, second, third start, they play really well. Brock Purdy, right, in San Francisco, they play really well because a lot of people don't have film on these guys. A lot of people don't know what you are going to bring to the NFL table. Yeah, we can watch film on you in college, but that's college. It's only so much we can get from you. And guys like a Brock Purdy has gotten better through training camp and learning the playbook and learning to play, of course, with his team. Ritter could be doing the exact same thing. So it'll be interesting to see how he's able to transition from Cincinnati quarterback to Atlanta Falcons quarterback and running his offense. Arthur Smith as a head coach with his type of offensive guru work, I think it works well for a guy like Ritter, get him flowing out of the pocket, utilize his mobility, and be able to be effective both with his arm and also with his legs as well, too. So, again, it'll be interesting to see what happens, how that all plays out with the Falcons. Fracture Walnut says, the bench, I heard he left the team because Ritter is going to start the rest of the year, but I don't see that in his character. Again, that's why I'm saying, like, I've heard the same thing, Fracture Walnut. I'm not saying you're wrong. I like you're saying, I just don't see that being a truthful thing. So I'm not trying to defend Marcus Mariota. I'm just want to get more answers before I say, okay, he a hoe for doing that, because I don't know if that's true or not. I just don't see it. I'm gonna leave it with this, and we're gonna move on. The only reason why I can see and I can understand why that is true is because if you go back and go look at his last game as a Tennessee Titan, he decided not to play in that regular season finale due to him being hurt. And, of course, Ryan Tannehill came in and played, and the rest is history. But for the most part, it's something that has happened to him in the past. So I'm not saying it's not true that it could not happen, but it's interesting to think about. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Lions and the Jets. And like I stated in the our little promo intro that we do on Facebook and on Twitter, who would have thought at week 15 of the NFL season that the Lions and the Jets would be playing a meaningful game right now? Could anybody say that in week 15 that this game would be actually meaningful? Nobody would have said that before the season started. So, seriously, though, let's give kudos to not just the Lions, but also give kudos to the Jets as well, too, for playing well, steadying the ship, having ups and downs throughout this whole season, benching quarterbacks, playing literally all three quarterbacks. All three quarterbacks have played this season. The Jets have been through it all this season. And you have to, give them a little respect on that one, not just the quarterback situation, but just the whole team, the way the team has been able to show character through adversity and be able to still have a winning record above 500 at this mark. Even with a loss, of course, there still will be 7-7 and they'll still be at 500, but they will be slipping from playoff contention just due to everything is just getting that much tighter in the AFC. They are at the moment, they are in the 9th seed, but technically, I mean, they are technically tied with the 7th seed with the Patriots with 7 wins. With the Dolphins losing last night, if the Jets win their 8th game, then that puts them right back into playoff contention. So this game is very, very important for the Jets, and of course, it's very, very important for the Lions as well too. Because again, if you look at the Lions are literally almost in the exact same position as the Jets. They are only a game behind 6th or 7th spot in the NFC due to the Washington Commanders and the Giants and the Seattle Seahawks having 7 wins. Lions obviously have 6. The Lions have been streaking over the last 5 games and have been able to put themselves in a position to maybe get a playoff spot. So this game obviously is important for the Lions. Of course, they will be watching Sunday Night Football to see what happens with the Commanders and the Giants, because that will be something that obviously will be a standing changer as well too. Unless it goes into a tie, then that would make everything go even more crazy, because these are 2 teams, the Washington Commanders and Giants. These are 2 teams that have a tie on their record. So I mean, maybe they could go for another tie, right? And that will just make everything that much even more crazy in the NFC. At the moment, Ish and I both have the Lions winning this game. I wish Ish was here so he could, so I can pretty much just talk to him about how he's going back on his Jets. I'm very sad, and I'm very ashamed of him not sticking with his Jets. He's been high on his Jets all season long. Of course, he loves him some Sauce Gardner, and it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the Jets have just not been able to finish the deal so far. The season isn't over yet, but this is an opportunity for both teams. This is an opportunity for both teams to show up. Fracture Wanna says, hey, man, them Lions looking good right now. Dan Campbell has them going in the right direction. I 1,000% agree. He also says, if the Jets can get consistent quarterback play, they're going to be a problem for the next couple of years. Consistent quarterback play, and also, let's be real, not just that. Let's just get consistent play all around the field. The only person that's being consistent is probably Sauce Gardner, and that's a problem. If your rookie is the one that's being the most consistent out of everybody, that's a problem. But also as well, too, again, it takes everybody to make this whole thing work. And again, I think they have a damn good coach. They have a damn good head coach that's at the helm and knows what the hell he's doing. The defense is getting together. The offense, again, they have some pieces that are hurt as well too. Not making any excuses for the Jets. Everybody has injuries in the NFL. But next season, once they bring these guys back, then you bring back, of course, obviously the drafted guys, and of course you might bring in some free agents. Might have a little pot of gumbo in New York, my little stir fry might be out here looking good with New York. We'll have to, of course, wait and see on that one. Now, before we move on, though, I will state this. And I thought this was a very interesting stat, because it also just shows you the power of playing at home and playing away. Jared Goff this season, so far, he has thrown for 30 touchdowns and 3 interceptions at home. Away, he has thrown for 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So with that being said, as you obviously can see, Jared Goff loves playing at home. This will be the game. This is the game. I think we will have to see if the Lions are for real. If the Lions are able to go into New York or New Jersey and win this game, this will do so much for their mental, for their mental to be able to say, we can go in and win a game. They play, of course, the Jets today. They play also the Panthers next week in Carolina. After that, you play the Bears at home, and then you end the season off against the Packers in Lambeau Field. At this moment, the Lions control their own destiny. So if the Lions do not make the playoffs, it's on the Lions. They have the opportunity. It's right there in front of them. It's on them to go ahead and take and seize the opportunity to be able to make it into the playoffs this season when nobody expected y'all to be in there. All right, Steelers and the Panthers. Like I said before, slate of games this week, not that sexy. But it's probably going to be one of these games where, again, doesn't look sexy, 2 5-8 teams, but it could be some very competitive football going on there. Who knows? If you live in Carolina, I will say this. If you live in Carolina and you can go and watch this game for the low for $25, maybe even $50, this might be a decent little game to go and just check out, just due to, again, the Panthers are playing hard ever since the firing of Matt Rule. The Steelers, again, we're still trying to figure out. This is the year Mike Tomlin's not able to have a record over 500. This obviously could be the stake in the heart. If the Steelers lose this game, Mike Tomlin will not be able to be over 500 for the first time in his career. So I'll just go off of my little soliloquy first. I want to say the Panthers are a better team, but I don't know. I really can't say that because I feel like both of these teams are kind of each other. They're kind of like a mirror image of each other. Really, have some good receivers. Quarterback play is subpar. The defense is good when it wants to be. It's not consistent. Again, they really just remind me of each other, except for the Steelers have, of course, 60 plus more years of great history that they always, of course, want to fall back on. But that shit don't help you right now in 2022. Same thing with the Panthers. They've been to 2 Super Bowls in their history, but at this moment, 2022, both y'all 2 5-8 teams that are playing for draft positioning in the upcoming draft. That's what y'all playing for right now. As y'all can see, Ish picked the Panthers to win this game. I'm assuming, again, he's going with the Panthers just due to the way that they've been able to change things up and be able to hopefully keep on with this keep on with this little winning streak that they've been going on. Sam Darnold is back at the helm as the quarterback for that team. Again, the Carolina Panthers have been on a 2-game winning streak, trying to make it 3. And if we're being technical too, I mean, the NFC South is still open. NFC South is still technically wide open to where they can still win the division, depending on what happens with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay finds a way to let it slip. I mean, you still have even the Saints are still mathematically involved to win the division. So, Steelers, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Frank Vonna says, what do you think about the rumor of the Steelers trading Tomlin in the offseason to the Panthers? Frank Vonna says, I thought you couldn't trade coaches anymore. I'm going to have to look into that about the can't trading coaches thing because we have seen in the past coaches have been traded before. That is a thing. Obviously, the most notable was John Gruden back in the day in the early 2000s. Yeah, off the top of my head, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if that's a rule or not that they've implemented when it comes to can't trading coaches. But I'm going to be honest with you, Fractured. I'm going to need those rumors to go to the wayside because the Steelers are not the Houston Texans. And there's no shade to you at all. You my boy. You my boy. I'm just saying that the Steelers don't work in those type of operations with their football team. They don't do that. Only have 3 head coaches in their franchise. Only 3. The Texans have 3 head coaches in the last 5 years. Okay. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to entertain those silly rumors. But I will say the leash on the collar for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers are a little tighter. I ain't saying it's hey, he's gonna get fired in next year, but it's a little tighter. Hey, let's get this, let's get this back together because ever since AB and the Killer Bees with Le'Veon Bell and even Big Ben, the Steelers just have not really been themselves. So it's going to have to take everybody, organization, the drafting department, the scouting department. Of course, Tomlin. I mean, it's going to have to take everybody to figure this out in regards of what do we want our organization to look like in the next 5 to 10 years. The Steelers are an organization that can play with a quarterback that's not the Brady or the Rodgers or the Mannings. They can put a quarterback in their system and be successful, kind of like what the 49ers have been doing recently. That's what the Steelers have always been in their past. As long as they have a stout defense, decent quarterback play, and, of course, a hell of a running back, the Steelers can play with anybody. But right now, even with the pieces that they have, like Najee Harris and TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick, you got Pickens as a wide receiver. I mean, even with these pieces, it just seems as though they're not cohesive for whatever reason. So, again, that's something that this organization need to find out real quick, or maybe you could see a change at the helm. Maybe there could be one a lot quicker than we think. So, We shall see. Fresh One also says, to be honest, the Steelers are still right there. They need to focus on the offensive line and the draft and free agency. I 90% agree. But I agree, yes, it starts with the offensive line, but it's not just them, right? It's also the whole shebangity bang. It's everybody that's involved. Everybody has to play their part. So we'll see what happens. They have killers on both sides of the ball. I 100% agree. I agree. I mean, again, for this organization to have the amount of talent that they have, get it together, guys. Get it together. You're too good of an organization to be looking like the way you look. All right, let's go ahead and get into, of course, as always, if you want to go ahead and get your haircut, go ahead and stop by Imperial King's Barbershop and ask for Jason and go ahead and get you a nice little fade at Imperial King's Barbershop, location on 9218 FM 520 or FM 1960. My apologies once again. Go ahead and give Jason a call at 346-355-8255. So you can go ahead and look sharp for this upcoming week, for the work week, and whatever else you got this coming week. We got Jesus' birthday this upcoming weekend, right? So you gotta make sure you look sharp for Jesus' birthday. One thing I don't understand about Jesus' birthday, we always have a birthday party for Jesus, but he don't ever want to be lit. You come to the birthday party, you don't want to drink no Dos Equis with your boy. I'm like, man, it's a boring birthday party, man. Come on, Jesus. Got presents, but no alcohol. It's crazy. All right, let's go ahead and get into our don't be upset picks of the week as well. I have the Steelers over the Panthers, even though I guess not really an upset, but due to Vegas, it would be an upset. And for Ish, he has the Patriots over the Raiders, and of course, we'll get into that game very, very soon. And as well, if I was a betting man, I don't have my picks out right now, but I will recap my picks on Tuesday. I was doing some daddy things. I wasn't able to get my picks in before the show, but I will get my picks in, and I will let y'all know on Tuesday. Most likely that I lost all my picks because that's just how that's how prize picks have been doing me this past year. Fracture One says, don't be upset if the Chiefs don't win by 40 this week. Fracture, we're going to get into that game shortly too, because I was happy you brought that up because I was going to talk about that game literally right after this Cowboys game. So we'll get there shortly. As I can see, Cowboys versus Jags. Literally the exact same game. Not the exact same game, especially because of record. The Bears are 3-10, Jaguars 5-8. But same type of game for the Eagles that I talked about. That same way I look for the Cowboys in regards of this being a trap game, this being a game that you better not overlook and try to just worry about the Eagles because the Jaguars will beat you. The Jaguars are streaking as well too. Again, some of these teams have been taking advantage of this middle of the season winning streaks and been able to try to put themselves in position to either make the playoffs or even try to win the division. Still a little far-fetched that the Jags will find a way to creep up on the Titans winning the division. But maybe in the AFC, they can maybe get a wild card spot, and it definitely helps to take advantage of maybe winning a game at home that you're not supposed to. Cowboys coming as a 4-point road favorite, which, if I'm being completely honest, I would at least think they were a 6-point favorite. Maybe Vegas is looking at the Cowboys a little differently now, just the way they've been playing recently. I don't know. But for both teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys, I want to see at the end of this game, I want to see domination on both teams. I want to see that both of these teams were able to, because we both have away games. They both, again, playing teams that they normally do not play. So the only reason why you would have a little struggle, a little issue playing both of these teams was because you don't play them on a normal, consistent basis compared to a division team, right? But overall, both of these teams, the Eagles and Cowboys, have way more talent on both sides of the ball compared to the opponents that they are playing. So for the Cowboys, there's nothing that I really need to say to hype this game up. Y'all go listen to Von Miller's podcast with Michael Parsons on there, right? Y'all go listen to all these other podcasts. They got folks on here talk about the Cowboys and all that stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's on the. We don't care about what y'all do in the regular season anymore. It's not about the regular season for the Cowboys. It's about what are they going to do in the postseason. They had an opportunity last year against the 49ers at home. We saw what happened with that, right? The Cowboys have an opportunity to not just, of course, go to the playoffs, but also host. Oh, not my apologies. Not host. My apologies. They won't be able to host because obviously the Eagles will win that division. My apologies on that one. So right now it's all depending on matchups. So right now, if the playoffs started today, they'll be playing against Tampa Bay. They'll be traveling to Tampa Bay to play that game. I think they can win that game. I think that they're supposed to win that game. But we just don't know how the Cowboys are going to react once they get in that position, right? So overall, it's next week for the Cowboys and the Eagles. I've been waiting on this for a very, 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 very long time. This is going to be a hell of a Christmas present for us all. We after this game is over, we all going to sing us a silent night. We're going to tuck the kiddos to bed, and we're going to have us a beautiful Christmas, right? That's what it's going to be. This is a Christmas present for us adults to be able to enjoy on Saturday night, because I know I'm enjoying myself watching the game. I have no dog in the fight, but I want to see how both of these teams compete against each other, because these are the cream of the crops of the NFC, besides the 49ers and maybe the Vikings, depending on how they want to fucking play, because they obviously want to give up. They obviously want to be down by 33 points and find a way to win the game. Like, I don't understand it. But for the Cowboys, it's the Cowboys and Eagles. It's Cowboys and Eagles. That's really what it comes down to. I'm tired of being a dead horse. Let's, of course, wait and see what happens next week. We will be here to talk about it. I'm excited. Unfortunately, Ish won't be here, but we will definitely be talking about it and hyping that game up just like everybody else on all other sports channels will be hyping up as well. Travis Crowe says, big possible to meet in the playoffs as well. No, I 1,000,000% agree, and that's something we stated, Ish and I stated already in the past, that they can play 3 times. And that's going to be, again, interesting as well, too, because let's just say the Eagles beat the Cowboys in the regular season. That don't mean shit if the Cowboys beat the Eagles in the postseason, right? Or vice versa. If the Cowboys were to sweep the Eagles in the regular season and the Eagles win the postseason, that's all that matters, is that postseason win. So we'll see what happens. Again, I hope to see it in the postseason as well, too, these teams matching up. But gotta take care of business in Jacksonville first. Let's take care of business in Jacksonville, and then we'll look for week 16. All right, just like I told Fracture Walnut, we will be talking about the Texans very, very soon. And it ain't too much to really talk about. We already know who's going to win this game. Let's not act all silly. Now, I will say this, though. If you are in Houston, go ahead and go take advantage of watching Patty Mahomes back here in Texas once again, because I know how he is. Anytime he's in Texas, he likes to ball out. That would not be surprising at all if they win this game by 30 points. I'm going to let you know right now, if the Chiefs do not cover the spread of the Houston Texans, I'm more worried about the Chiefs than I'll be worried about the Cowboys. The reason why I say that is because the Texans have now just put Petrie on IR and also Dameon Pierce, meaning that the Texans don't have anybody out there to compete. The Chiefs should go out there and go run wild against this team, and it should be no reason why the Chiefs struggle. If the Chiefs are struggling against the Texans, I'm going to have to look at y'all differently. Again, not the Cowboys. The Cowboys, that's what the Cowboys do. We ain't worry about them. The Texans played the Cowboys. They played the Eagles this past season as well. And they've held their own for the most part, but they're not on that type of tier with the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Eagles, right? With the Chiefs, at the moment, they are number 2 seed in the AFC. At the moment, the Buffalo Bills have number 1 seed, so everything's traveling through Buffalo. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs want everything to travel through Arrowhead, so they have to do their part more and make sure, of course, they take care of business. Doesn't matter if you win by 1 or win by 100, of course. The Chiefs don't care, but it also does matter on the way that you win this game. And again, I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but I'm just being honest that the Chiefs, like we talk about all the time, it's a good team. You have to crush the necks of bad teams. I am not going to be the dead horse. I'm going to leave it as is. The Chiefs should take care of business. Let's get to comment section one more time. He says, man, the Drake curse still lives. 229 French score 2 and 5. Oh, Lord. Thank you for the update, Fracture, because apparently No, you good. Don't be sorry, Fracture. Don't be sorry. I appreciate you more than anything for keeping me updated on the World Cup, because when we started the show, it was halftime for the World Cup. Obviously, Argentina versus France. Argentina was up 2-0, or I should say 2-0. My apologies. Like Fracture just updated me on, apparently French has scored two goals in the last 5 minutes. So wow, I was the one that jumped the gun quickly, and I said that apparently the Drake curse is dead and gone, but apparently it's not. But Argentina does this a lot too. This is something that Argentina does all the time. They give up 2-goal leads, and yeah, we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and finish up our American football, and then we can get back to the FIFA. Cardinals and Broncos. Like I said earlier in the show, a slate of games that are ugly. This is an ugly game, ugly matchup. Two underwhelming teams. Two just I'm just being honest with you, pitiful. I mean, everything that you want. Disgusting, terrible, obscene. Just yeah. Like the throw emoji on iPhone. That's what these two teams are. The Cardinals general manager just in the past week needed to step down due to personal reasons and whatnot, or take a leave and whatnot, and it just more of not the good things happening for Arizona. The only reason I'm even picking Arizona is because I'm tired of the Broncos. I'm just being honest. I'm tired of Let's Ride. I'm tired of Russell Wilson. I'm tired of all of it this season. I'm tired of Jared Jeudy. Yeah, it ain't just Russell. I'm tired of Jared Jeudy out here having a little hissy fit. And bumping into referees and getting fined for it. I'm tired of this whole Broncos. I'm tired of the whole team. I'm tired of it, right? That's the only reason why I'm picking the Cardinals. I don't expect the Cardinals to win this game. I'm telling you right now, if I'm being honest, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm doing this right now. I'm gonna do a first on XtalknIsh right now. I'm doing a first. This is what I got for this game. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. Both of these teams gonna tie. And when these two teams tie, I want y'all to come back to XtalknIsh and be like, damn, X, you was right. I don't want to be right because I don't like seeing ties. But both of these teams suck so bad that I feel like both of these teams are going to tie. And you know what? If I was a betting man, I'll take my ass to Louisiana right now and go put some money down on this tie because I don't know what the payout going to be. But I feel like it's going to be a decent amount if you was to get it right on a game like that becoming a tie. Again, not beating the dead horse at all. And that's literal on that one, the Broncos. But both of them teams suck. So we're just going to go ahead and move on. Patriots and the Raiders. Of course, again, besides both of these teams, little bit of a seesaw their whole season. The Raiders are trying to pull themselves from the bad start. I just don't think they have enough time. They are 5-8. I just don't think that they will be able to do it. They just put themselves in such a deep hole. It's just going to be very, very difficult for them. The Patriots are 7-6. They have been able to kind of steady the whole train of this team for the whole season, losing Mac Jones at one point in time, of course, having Zappy come in. If you, of course, watch the show, you know Ishmael is a big fan of Zappy and wanted him to play over Mac Jones. Seems as though Mac Jones is the better quarterback because Mac Jones continues to keep getting his spot back. And he's somebody that seems as though that he wants to win. He wants to win bad. But I don't know if that's being resonated with the rest of the team in the right way. Because, and again, this is just my opinion. I'll have to talk to other sources that I know within the Patriots organization to see, is his personality rubbing off on people the wrong way? Because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like Mac Jones, like, not that he's trying to be Brady, because nobody about to come in and be the Patriots quarterback and trying to replicate what Brady did. Don't do that. Be yourself. But I just feel like him being himself is sometimes kind of like he's trying to be too much of somebody else and not himself, if that makes sense. You know, trying to gritty, trying to do this, trying to do that. Just go be Mac Jones. Like, you know, go be Joe Burrow is who he is, right? Justin Herbert is who he is. Russell Wilson, go be Mac Jones. And I don't know if Mac Jones know who he is from time to time. So until Mac Jones figure out who the hell he is, then he'll be able to continue on to be a better quarterback for the Patriots, not just for the Patriots, but better quarterback for himself. Because right now, it seems as though that the Patriots, as a offensive unit at least, don't trust him as well as he might think. I have the Raiders winning this game only just due to the Raiders being the Raiders. They'll find ways to lose games they're not supposed to. They'll find ways to win games they're not supposed to. This might be one of them games. They're probably not supposed to. I do know the record between Bill Belichick and his assistants. I know. But maybe this is the one that Josh McCown can be able to pull out of his magic hat and be able to get a win against Bill Belichick. My opinion. We'll see what happens with that one. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't think this is a game that y'all want to tune into. It's going to be kind of ugly. I'm just being completely honest. Titans versus Chargers. Speaking of ugly, the Tennessee Titans out here doing ugly stuff, especially last week. Losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. So, with that being said, I went with my heart on this one. I was going to pick the Chargers. I really was. But for some reason, whenever the Tennessee Titans like to go out to LA, like they did last year against the Rams, they apparently like to embrace that LA weather, eat that LA food. Because, you eat in Nashville all the time, eating all that hot chicken all the damn time. You go to LA, you get you some real food. You might perform a little better. Then also, you might put a little bit, a little bit of that thing in the air. I'm talking about that little paper roll in the air. It might get nice, a little comfortable over there. It may be the reason why the Titans play so much better in LA. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Titans. I think this is a game that they need to bounce back from, and also shows a little bit of character. Adversity, you see who you really are when adversity hits you. Right, so the Tennessee Titans are in adverse times right now, and it's up to them to punch their way out of it and figure out how to get back on track. Titans are 7-6 right now. This is a very important game for not just the Titans, but also the Chargers. Chargers are 7-6 as well. And as well, if you look at the standings of the AFC, even though the Titans are winning and leading the division right now, they are, of course, sitting at the 4th seed. But also the Chargers, they're sitting on the outside looking in. They need this win to be able to be in the wild card position to be able to be in the playoffs. So this is a very, very important game for both of these teams. Ish obviously picked the Chargers. And this game probably could go down to the last 1 or 2 possessions. And if Justin Herbert has the ball, I honestly have more faith in him than I do Ryan Tannehill. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, how this game unfolds. But Chargers have been underwhelming this season. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Brandon Staley's not there next season. I've stated this all season long. I'm going to continue to state this. Let go of Brandon Staley. He's the one holding the Chargers back. Get somebody else in there. And hopefully the Chargers can not waste Justin Herbert's years like they wasted Phillip Rivers' years. So, all right, Bengals versus the Buccaneers. Not gonna spend too much time on this one. Besides, the Buccaneers are slipping. They are 6-7. They need a win. I don't think they'll get it this week, but they need this win, and it's because of just how bad the NFC South is. The Buccaneers are probably going to still get into the playoffs. The Cincinnati Bengals are streaking. Winners of the last 5. The Bengals are the scariest team to play right now. I don't think the Buccaneers have enough to stop what Joe Burrow is on right now. And Joe Burrow gets to play in Tampa Bay today, weather looking like 68, partly cloudy. He's gonna have a field day. If the Buccaneers defense do not come to show up, Joe Burrow will throw for 350 yards and at least 2 or 3 touchdowns. So, look, there are going to be a lot of questions to have to be answered in the offseason for the Buccaneers after the season's over with. And I'm talking about, yes, Todd Bowles as the coach. I don't blame Todd Bowles as what's going on with this team, but something needs to be changed. And I think with Brady leaving Tampa Bay, because that's going to happen. I think Brady either retiring or going elsewhere to play. I think once Brady is gone, it allows Coach Bowles to finally coach the way that he needs to and not have to cater to Brady. Because let's be real, we all know he's been catered to. anybody with half an eyeball can tell that Tom Brady has been catered to ever since he got Tampa Bay. But it is what it is. You kind of have to cater to a guy that's won 6 Super Bowls before he came to Tampa Bay and was able to win you one. And let's be real, most people know who Tom Brady is before they know who Todd Bowles is. So it's just one of those things where egos are a real thing in all the sports. So for the Buccaneers, if after this game, if you're 6-8, you better figure it out real fast, or maybe the Saints could come out of nowhere and find a way to win the division. That would be ugly if that happens, but it could. All right, Giants and Commanders Sunday night football game. Like I stated before, this is another important but also interesting matchup just due to their records. Both of them are 7-5-1. I don't know when the last time we've had it to where this late in the season that we've had teams that had the exact record with a tie. That's something that we'll have to look into as well, too. That's very interesting. But, again, this game is very important because of where they are sitting at in the playoffs. Both of these teams are literally – Commanders are number 6. Commanders are 6. The New York Giants are number 7 seed in the NFC playoff race. So, of course, the winner of this game will obviously either flip-flop or stay where they're at. And most likely, I think, just my opinion, the loser of this game would not be in the playoffs. So this is a very, very important game for both teams. And if the Commanders can win this game, as we both picked, then, of course, we'll be seeing them in the playoffs in a season that we expected to maybe throw the Washington Commanders away just due to everything that they've had going on. But also, too, and again, I'm mad that Ish isn't here because why is he going away from his Danny Dimes? No more. He don't believe in Danny Dimes no more. I need to give him a call right now. I know he in Germany. I know he probably asleep right now. I don't care. I need to wake him up. Where Danny Dimes at? Danny Dimes. You ain't picking your boy. What's going on? I told him. I said he was Danny with a nickel. Ish didn't want to believe me, but he sees the light now. He sees the light. That's why he's picking the Commanders. Travis Crow says it'd be sad sad as fuck if they tied again. It would be, but be hilarious if they did. Just being honest, it'd be hilarious. All right, let's go ahead and finish it off with the Rams and the Packers for Monday Night Football. Again, we will join you guys back once again on Tuesdays to recap all these games. Monday Night Football, we have Rams versus Packers. If the Rams had all of their players on their team, we might pick the Rams. Even with the Packers just underperforming this season, and of course won't be in the playoffs, and probably just might blow it up this upcoming season. Packers are 5-8. The Rams are 4-9. Of course, Baker Mayfield will be starting for the Rams. Again, for a mediocre quarterback to continue to keep getting chances after chances, I just roll my eyes at Baker Mayfield because sooner or later, you're going to find a way to fuck it up. You're going to find a way to fuck it up. And if you don't believe me, just wait and see. You're going to find a way to fuck it up. So for Baker, enjoy your time out in Lambeau. Go crazy. Throw a couple of interceptions. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he does that. And we have the Packers winning the game by at least 7 points. This game shouldn't – the Rams should not have an opportunity to win this game just due to where it's located. It's going to be in Lambeau. Weather's supposed to be 24 degrees. It's going to be a night game. Wouldn't surprise me to see a little snow flurries maybe. Rams ain't used to that. Rams don't want no parts of that. Packers, take care of business at home. Try to bring back the mystique of Lambeau Field. It ain't going to be this year because I am hosting no playoff games. But, again, another organization, like I said, with the Packers that have a lot of soul searching to do after the season's over with, like Tampa Bay and Carolina. I mean, it is a lot of teams that once it's the Colts, once they go into the offseason, they're going to have to figure out who are we. So we'll see what happens with that. Other than that, I appreciate y'all, as always, for tuning in to XtalknIsh. Of course, on our Week 15 preview show, join us on Tuesday, Week 15 recap show to recap all these games that we talked about. And, of course, we will have a special guest as well joining me. And as always, if y'all need anything, I'm more than welcome to hit us up at XtalknIsh. Other than that, y'all have a good one. Enjoy y'all football.